He came to me in dreams. He kept appearing every night. I was not sure why, until I heard his voice saying, "My 8 manifestations represent 8 quantum energy fields. Now, go tell the world." I awoke with a start, determined to find out what these 8 quantum energy fields are and how they relate to the 8 manifestations of the Lotus-born Master. From 2002 to 2015, I led a series of expeditions across the Qinghai Tibetan Plateau, searching for the mythical, legendary realm of Shangri-La. Now in 2018, we reassembled the Searching for Shangri-La expedition team and began the search for the Lotus-born Master. Upon becoming the wisdom holder, he decided to complete the matrix of Buddhism studies. Entering Nalanda University, he became a monk, a scholar, and a pandita, manifesting as Padmasambhava. However, not for long. Soon he had a vision of Princess Mandawara in the kingdom of Zahor, meditating in the mountains beside a sacred lake. He went to find the princess.
This is Guru Rinpoche's body print, backside especially. Mandara cave is inside. This is inside entrance to the main cave. Yeah, Anila, she's the caretaker of the Mandarawa cave.
This is the first cave of Mandarawa. This is the main cave here. And meditated and achieved the rainbow body.
Mandawara was the princess of the kingdom of Zahor. The king had no son and no heir, so all the other kingdoms around wanted to marry her to take over Zahor. In order to avoid conquest, the princess decided to become a nun.
So right now we are at one of the highest place in the Himachal Pradesh. In Tibetan we call it Tsopema. This is a place where Mandarawa realized the everything. She was very beautiful. She was a princess. This Zahor kingdom to be very beautiful kingdom. So everybody really like to take that kingdom. The king has only princess, only daughter. So that's the one reason she also choose to become a nun.
Many princes came to Asar to marry, but she refused. And then, of course, king must be very sad also. Then she said, okay, then if you want to do Dharma practice, then you have to go up to the cave.
This is the place where actually the Zahor king built the nunnery for the Mandarawa and 500 other nuns.
When Guru Rinpoche appeared here, and then what you call shepherds, they heard that man's voice.
You can see the hole above the cave where the cow herded the Guru Rinpoche giving teaching to Mandarawa. So this is the hole. So then the rumor started from there.
And then slowly the news spread to the ministers, and then they told to the king, And then king was very, very angry. He sent the ministers and then told them, you go and check. And then they found, of course, Guru Rinpoche there. And then they took Mandarawa to Mandi, where you went, and she put in that prison.
After Zahor king found that Padmasambhava was giving teaching to Princess Mandarawa and 500 nuns in the Riversal mountain. So then that was against the kingdom's kind of law. So then the punishment has to be there for the princess and Padmasambhava. They put here as a jail.
All the ministers, they brought him, Guru Rinpoche, here, and they burnt him alive.
King went and see, and then he found that Padmasambhava was sitting on the lotus, and all the fire, all the smoke actually turned into water as a lake.
Quantum physicists believe he was able to survive the fire by altering material particles through his mind control over light frequency.
In creating mantras, you're basically creating a laser beam. We talked about mantras being sound energy, and basically the sound energy coming together in a very coherent form of frequency. So laser beams are the same thing. You have light energy basically bouncing off each other, creating a giant coherent light beam and shooting out and becoming a laser beam.
Heat or the energy of that intensity that is created by mantra can separate that cluster and make it non-visible. So that is the science of it, and all our rishis knew how to do it.
King of Zahor came, he saw, and then he was really astonished. He suddenly had a great, of course, devotion, and then he went to Guru Rinpoche, and then he said, oh, what I did, I'm very, very sorry. And then he wanted to become, of course, his disciple, and also the subjects, all the people became Buddhists. And then he invited Guru Rinpoche to his kingdom. And then from palace, he took out all this, now what Guru Rinpoche is wearing, like his hat, clothes, he offered to him, The king of Zahor offered her to Guru Rinpoche.
This is the cave where Mandarawa continued her practice, and also it says that this is where Mandarawa was enlightened.
Together with Princess Mandawara, and through the practice of consort yoga, they achieved what is called rainbow body enlightenment.
Rainbow body means like, our body is made of 5 skandhas, or 5 aggregates, And when our body is, because this is made of all the poisons, and then through the practice, when these 5 aggregates are gradually purified, and then all this will transform into the body of wisdoms.
Rainbow light is basically the full
emanation of the light frequency that we could see. Within that rainbow light, we could feel basically our whole body because it addresses every single frequency in the spectrum.
Light carries information as well, right? And that's, if you look at about 99% of the data that's being transferred around the world today is via cables underwater, right? And those cables are sending light beams with encoded information in the light beams.
Part of the meditational practice is that you have to envision that light fills you up and that you have this light coming from inside and surrounding you.
You take the plant, you take any animal, you take any person, like human being, all of these creatures, like all of these living beings are emitting visible spectrum light.
If we look at quantum physics, the reason why light is so commonly used in say, the double slit experiment and such things is that light is relatively easy to demonstrate that it has this dual nature.
Like our mind is not really, it doesn't have a physical form. Like we say that all the body of deities is called manifold luminosity. Luminosity. Actually, it's a light, as you rightly said. Yeah, it's a light.
At that moment, he heard the 7-line prayer, first uttered by monks in Bodh Gaya, calling him back to save them from black magic.
Even in Padmasambhava's time, there was this constant questioning of what was going on. And obviously, Hinduism was very prevalent then too. So there were a lot of people who would question what Padmasambhava was teaching.
There was a lot of debate between non-Buddhist and Buddhist scholars. The most serious debate happens in Bodh Gaya. 500 non-Buddhist scholars came to debate with the Buddhist scholars. These non-Buddhist scholars, they have not just the knowledge, but they also have some kind of psychic powers, black magic and supernatural power to destroy the Buddhist monks and Buddhist community in this very place. Those Buddhist scholars was almost losing their debate. At that moment, all the Buddhist monks, they have prayed to the Padmasambhava to come and save them. This is actually, it is believed that right now the most famous Guru Padmasambhava's prayer, which we call the 7-line prayer. And Guru Padmasambhava heard that, and then he came here. Padmasambhava did the debate.
He was the ultimate debater in some ways because he was able to defeat everyone just with his arguments. He had an answer.
But there are some non-believers, they are like very powerful, they try to use some kind of psychic power.
If you are God Buddha, you are Shakyamuni, you have to today demonstrate that you have the highest power.
So then that is where Guru Padmasambhava manifests himself as the Guru Singha Dado, which in English we say the lion's roar.
Sometimes he need to purify or defeat some the evil things. That's why he showed the wrathful forms.
If your intent is driven by negative motivations, you will cause a lot of trouble because you have as much black magical power, if you want to call it that, as you do white magical power.
But you know, if you really want to deal with something tough, you read a strong, powerful face, or called wrathful face. Rinpoche meditate himself as Lionhead Dagini.
There is the advantage of these gurus or master gurus, as Padmasambhava was, that he had this ultimate siddhis, where he could actually demonstrate there are hidden powers in us, and we can convert these powers into a positive aura around us.
Lionfish Dakini is one of the very powerful among the deities. Many gurus have practiced, even myself I practice Lionfish Dakini. It has such a positive and strong energy. It's like whatever that you face all this bad energy. If somebody sends you bad energy, you are able to reflect all the bad energy. It's a kind of reflection.
According to the second law of thermodynamics, everything, all information, all difference in the universe must cancel out. There is a gradual disappearance. Is one of these fundamental laws of nature that we have discovered. The way I interpret this function of Buddhist Aikido.
Yeah, Aikido, okay, now I got it. Yeah. It's without actually, not necessarily intentionally to harm others, but actually you are just protecting yourself or protecting others to send back unwanted gift.
And therefore, he could bring the power of the universal energy into his body and be able to counter it and convert it into universal energy.
That materialism is not everything. See, that human mind is meant for something greater, something greater. And Padmasambhava was manifestation of that.
When we're talking about Guru Padmasambhava, 8 manifestations, there is one manifestation called Shakya Singhe.
Shakya Singhi, they are called Shakya is a Buddha Shakyamuni, and similarly, he is peerless, because Singhi is we call lion. Lion is the peerless of all the animals. He's a king.
The lion of the Shakya lineage.
The most important, the second Buddha.
As Shakya Senghe, he manifested as the Buddha himself. His hand holds the dorje, or Vajra, the symbol of Vajrayana Buddhism. It is not just about becoming enlightened for oneself, but using that enlightenment for action to help others and transform negative situations into positive. It is said that the place where he achieved enlightenment is the Yangle Sho cave in Pharping, Nepal. Following the footsteps of the Lotus-born master, we went to Patan, an ancient kingdom in the Kathmandu Valley, which was the center of Buddhist tantric practice at the time. It still is today.
Even today, Patan, where we are right now, to the west you've got the Persian Empire back then. North you've got China, south you've got India. This was the center for the Silk Road in many ways.
There were merchant kings, there were sultanates at port cities, there were Tibetan Buddhist monasteries that financed caravan trade.
People could not really say which came first, which the pilgrimage came first or the trade came first, because it blended in such a way connecting the communities, geographies, languages, religions across the Himalayas.
Not just with silk and spices, but there was a lot of exchange of ideas.
Wherever we see historically
along with trade, culture travels.
There is something happening in this valley, which is a spiritual high castle and connected to points of the world and the universe.
Driving from Patan to the surrounding mountains of the Kathmandu Valley, we came to Yanglesho, the cave where the Lotus-born master achieved enlightenment.
This is one of the oldest Vajrayogini temple. In fact, this is one of the most important Vajrayogini temple.
There was a lot of Shakti worship, female energy, female power, Dakinis, goddesses. So why did he go to Parping? Well, Shakti Devi, she was a princess from Patan. When her mother died, the new queen mother effectively kicked her out from Patan. She had nowhere to go, so she ended up going to Parping.
Padmasambhava came here, and then Padmasambhava had the vision of Vajrayogini and received the direct initiation from Vajrayogini. There was a time that 3 years there was no raining in Nepal. So people are sick and people are like going through a lot of suffering. And he discovered that the drought came from the spell of the Naga, a powerful Naga.
Nagas, in many ways, according to the mythologies, they are a world unto themselves that shares the same material existence that we humans live in. And they are supposed to be serpent-like animals, half humans, half serpents.
Guru Padmasambhava discovered that. Then he found the solution. He practiced the Vajrakilaya, which he already realized, which already perfected in the Asura cave. Performed the ritual. So the Naga came from all the different directions, the snakes. This entire valley was full of the snake. And then Padmasambhava, through the magic dagger, he subdued the Naga. Padmasambhava invited this one of these Dharma object from Buddha Gaya. There was one Vajrakilaya, magic dagger. This is how it exactly looked like.
My father was an expert in making purpas, actually. And I remember him once saying, Purpa Ramaluk means that has copper, iron, and gold. Externally, when you look at it, it looks like a weapon. But if you go really in detail, it has many things that you can understand through this, representing three faces in different form, has different meaning. But in a modern term, it seems like it's like a antenna or a transmitter.
So absolutely, if you're thinking a copper dagger as the means to not just receive but transfer information, the electrons vibrate along that metal, and that's how information can be sent and received.
Metal, like color, have their own frequency. A lot of times they complement the frequency of the colors.
I mean, every metal has its own what do you call it, power to evoke certain energy or attract certain energy or to transmit certain energy.
Any sharp edge, the more sharp it is accumulating the energy that is going by the surface, and then it's like shooting it in the direction where the edge is directed.
Is that the right word? Transmitter? Yeah. Of course, I mean, only individually as a purpa instrument, probably I don't know how much it works. But together with the practitioner who has it, and his mind and his practice of understanding and practice and realization and his accomplishment in his practice makes the pupa active or not active, or really is able to do the transmitting job properly or not. That depends on the individual practitioner.
This is the Naga temple. So after Padmasambhava subduing the Naga, so from there Naga took the oath under Padmasambhava to protect the sentient beings. So then the people around there, they also start to keep the river clean, keep the mountain environment clean, so that the Naga will not be disappointed again So from there they did some kind of temple here. So from there to until now, actually the Naga were here before we here. When we come to place and we try to build something, we try to dig out, we try to change the environment. So sometimes they get very disappointed. So then some of the Naga, they are very powerful. They can change whole environment. They can create war. So then this is how. This is maybe now Naga is talking. So I think Padmasambhava knew how to do it, how to communicate with the Naga. He knew the communication between the human and some formless being.
And we humans, we think that we control this world, we conquer this world, when in reality, perhaps we are no more than just part of the ornamentation in this world. And there are other creatures in other realms, perhaps in the Naga world, sharing in this world. And so for Padmasambhava, he, in his meditation, he had to perhaps take on these deities, semi-deities.
Because human makes Naga angry. Then they get very frustrated, they get very, very angry. So then they create the obstacle like a drought, famine, maybe earthquake, maybe tsunami, and there's all this natural disaster. The problem with the humans is memory. We always forget. We forget what we did. We forget what we're supposed to do. So we do a lot of mistakes. So Naga never forgets.
While meditating in the caves of Nepal, the Lotus-born master received a delegation from King Tritsen of Tibet, who wanted to spread Buddhism across the land of snow. To do so, he invited Shantarakshita, the abbot of Nalanda University in India, to come and build a grand monastery at Samye.
By that time, Padmasambhava was quite well known. He created quite a name for himself, so he was invited by the king to Tibet. At that time, Buddhism was already in Tibet, but the Bon culture, the Bon belief system was also very prevalent.
The Black Bon religion, they have a kind of very strong, very old history, very ancient, very spiritualist, and then very powerful. They can do magic, black magic, white magic, all these sort of magics that they can perform.
自从这盖了一个3夜寺，盖了很长时间，这7年的时间，然后是白天盖上，晚上就又没有了，盖了那么长时间没有盖到了，然后是很多人问那怎么办？问的过后呢，人家说，哦，这个是你们西藏是一个魔王太厉害的，如果是你们西藏这个3夜寺盖起来的话，需要一个佛，他是一个莲花里面生出来的一个佛，他有办法。
Most people would not go there. Because you go through the first mountain range, then you are in endless jungles, and then it gets higher and higher and higher. You have to cross passes between 5,000 and 6,000 meters. It's an enormous adventure. Now he had the willingness, the force, the guts to do and interact and mediate.
According to legend, when the Lotus-born master arrived in Tibet, he tamed the demons and turned them into protectors of Buddhism, allowing for the Samye monastery to finally be built. According to historians and scholars, his sheer charisma influenced the Bun court, where he was able to invite local deities to become Buddhist protectors.
But he was able to come in and not say, hey, you have to convert and this is Buddhism. He was able to assimilate, absorb what was there, and make it part of this new belief system of Buddhism that he was introducing to the region.
Speciality of Guru Rinpoche is he is very good at transforming bad energy into good energy.
Because the syncretic nature of Buddhism, and that's why it's so different. The Buddhism you have in India is so different from the one you have in China, because they had this way of just assimilating whatever was already there. Tolerance is the key to all of this.
一直来到这个桑耶寺的时候，然后再也是经过这个木米的地方。
对，
然后经过木米的地方的时候，他来到这个桑耶寺的时候，莲花生大师项目的时候，就这个时候去做的话也可以，但是如果你这个米格法学。
As the king of Zahor had done before him, King Tritsen Detsen of Tibet was so overawed by the power of the Guru that he offered his entire kingdom to the Lotus-born master. But the Lotus-born master didn't aspire to rule a mere kingdom. His goal was to master the management of energy frequencies on a quantum scale. In order to do this, he required another princess as partner to help bring consort practice to an even higher level.
Could very well be the father of what we regard as today as modern quantum physics.
I think we can say Guru Rinpoche is father of everything.
I think he represents everything, you know. He represents everything, hope, and he represents joy, happiness, everything. He's father or mother or everything.
Quantum physics is probably one of the peripheral important events of perception which are happening around us right now. So we have not invented it. Our time might just be ripe enough that we can understand it. That it was understood before, it is very likely that again it may be a wave of understanding and not understanding, and it comes and goes. So I think now we are at a very positive wave. We have brilliant people on this planet who can see, feel, perceive, speculate about all those things without being persecuted.
Let's use the Padmasambhava as a symbol of progress, of moving forward, of traditional ideas, of modern ideas to really meet climate and challenges of water crisis. But I think the biggest challenge is working together, having cultures that appreciate each other, developing new ideas, and definitely we can look to Padmasambhava as inspiration.
gor peman ju ni se le tenen gor rumbo che gor chenji se ten gor rumbo che go traba chong chong 오늘 건도가 다 되는 거를 챙기기 전에 되네 거를 챙기기 전에 로주를 망타데 정말 베톤을 빼야버리 되네 생시 당시 이시지에 토지적이 되네 베톤을 빼야버리